Hey everybody, this is your girl Savvy Sab, and welcome back to another episode of What's for Dinner. This is where we do simple recipes, quick hacks, and on today will be no exception. So let's get started. So on today, we're going to start with a really quick recipe. You'll need 8 to 10 corn tortillas. I have some seasoned ground meat. I have some taco seasoning. I do not have any enchilada seasoning, so I use what I had. 1 onion. I have some mixed cheese. And also I have a block of mozzarella cheese. We're also using, guys, what we have in our home already. All right, so to get started, we're going to do two things. We're going to preheat our oven to 375, and we're also going to put a skillet on medium heat. Now, begin by cutting up your onion into, I would just say little thumb size pieces, or you can cut up in smaller pieces, but basically you just want to cut up your onion. You can take any type of meat to do this recipe. I'm using hamburger meat or ground meat. You can use ground turkey, ground chicken, whatever you would like for your meat to be. And in this case, mine has already been pre-seasoned. And we're going to go ahead on and put it into a warm skillet. As you're putting it into the warm skillet, you can go ahead on and put it on medium high. I just didn't want the skillet to burn or smoke or get overheated before putting the meat inside. Here you can add other seasonings if you wish. I did not, but you can add other seasonings. I've already used garlic powder, onion powder. I used a little paprika and a little seasoning salt and pepper if you desire. And you're going to let this cook for about 5 or 10 minutes. Okay, I also wanted to bring to your attention that if you notice, I did not throw away my ends of the onions because as a container gardener, I like to keep the ends of those and use that to put into my garden to regrow. Don't ever throw your kitchen scraps away again. This can be magic for you in the future. All you have to do is put those ends into water, let them grab some roots, and then plant them in soil. And soon you will receive, or you will harvest an onion. So next, we're going to go ahead on and take this block of mozzarella cheese here, and we're going to go ahead and grate it so that we can have some extra cheese to go with that mixed cheese we have. And if you don't have a block of mozzarella cheese, feel free to use whatever cheese you like. I always get the blocks of cheese when I can. And because first of all, they go a long way. To me, they go a little bit faster. a little bit longer than the shredded cheese. And of course, it's a little bit healthier for you because the shredded cheese has already been, what is the word I'm looking for? It's already had things added to it to get it to be shredded and keep. The block of cheese makes it really easy for us to go ahead on and use, and it's pretty much in its natural state. But I love the block cheese because I'm able to use however much I want to and wrap the other part up. But for the most part, we just use the whole block. I love it to be cheesy, ooey, and gooey. Yes, I do. The more cheesier, the better. And I don't even like cheese that much, but when it comes to cooking, cheese just seems like it makes your dish come all the way together. So, as you see, I went ahead and I grated up the cheese. And as you see, the meat is still cooking and getting acclimated to the heat that's in the skillet. And so, once we get through grating the cheese, you will have your cheese. You can use the little mixed cheese. I only have a little bit, so I actually use that cheese at the end. And I'm going to use the mozzarella cheese right now as my main cheese for whatever I'm doing. Okay? So now that you're through, Gonna set it to the side. See, I told you it makes a whole lot. So it gave you a whole bowl of cheese, and you can set it to the side. So now you want to go ahead and put those onions into the skillet, because now the meat has gotten acclimated to the skillet. It's nice and hot. It's pretty much browning on one side. So you want to go ahead and add those onions in, and then stir those bad boys in. Yes. Yes, go ahead and stir them in, so that now the meat starts to get hot all over the skillet, and the onions will actually cook into the meat and add more flavor, which is why, again, I don't over season or don't use a lot of seasoning when I'm doing things and then adding the onions, because they bring their own flavor. And again, you can use whatever meat you will like: ground chicken, ground turkey, but I'm using beef today. And we'll do this, and we'll cook over and stir over the meat for about 5 minutes, and then continue to let it cook until it cooks down and it's all brown. Okay, so now while that's cooking, we're going to let that cook for a while. We're going to go ahead on, and we're going to place 5 of those corn tortillas or flour tortillas, whichever one you're using. We're going to go ahead and place 5 of them to the bottom of this casserole dish here. If you don't have a casserole dish, you may use an aluminum pan or whatever you like. I've melted some butter. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some butter and go over the tortillas. This will ensure that they're nice and they're good and fresh to eat. This is just something that I choose to do. If you don't want to do it, you can leave this step out. But I've always just taken the butter and go over the tortilla, and I put it in the oven for about maybe about 10 minutes or so. And then I take it out. And that way it ensures me that, one, the tortilla is done, and it won't be slimy or nasty to the taste to me. Like I said, I've done this multiple times, and this is just something that I choose to do. Now, you don't have to do it, but this is just something that I do. I put the cheese on the tortilla. I put the butter on the tortilla, and I literally just put it in the oven just like that for about 10 minutes. For about 10 minutes. Okay, so meanwhile, let's work on the sauce that's going to go in here. I'm using some classical sweet basil sauce on today. And I'm going to use some picante sauce that I've already opened in my fridge. I'm going to start off by pouring that into a bowl. I also have some sriracha sauce for that kick. If you know me, you know my family loves kick. They love a little heat in their food. So you have those are the 2 main items. Now I have some Italian seasoning, and I have some oregano. You can go ahead on. You can add a little bit of both of those in your bowl if you want to. But believe me, it's going to bring out that basil sweetness in that sauce. So yes. Now I want to go in with my Italian seasoning. Okay. So now, excuse me guys, I'm a little sleepy. So now I'm going to stir that up just a little bit, get that acclimated. Now, take a little bit of the sauce in your jar, once I get my hands open, and you're going to pour it into that same bowl. But you're going to reserve about maybe 4 tablespoons of it, or a little bit more. I'll just say a half of it. More than half you could use. Save about a third of the jar. Okay? The rest of it, put in your bowl and stir it up. Now again, you can use salt and pepper here to season it. I didn't. I left it right there. You're going to take that taco seasoning and you're going to take that sauce, and that's what you're going to use in your meat. Because of the type of meat that I'm using, guys, it really won't have much drainage at all, but it will have a little. So I'm just going to get this ready, but we won't need that much drainage. We drained off a little bit of what was on the meat, the grease that was on the meat. Now we're adding it back into the skillet. Okay, so now you're going to add your taco seasoning and you're going to add your sauce. No particular order. Just add your seasoning and add your sauce. And if you're a girl like me, you want to get all of the sauce that you possibly can get out of that jar. So I'm going to put just a little bit of water to loosen up the rest of the sauce that's inside the jar, and I'm going to pour it over it. If you notice, it wasn't that much. I just used that to kind of get all of the sauce I could out the bottom of that jar, as well as give this just a little bit of juice. Now, right here, if you would like to add some crushed tomatoes or a little bit of tomato sauce, you can. I didn't use the sauce because we're using a sweet basil sauce. But if you would like to use some crushed tomatoes right here, you are more than welcome, guys. I didn't have any more, so I didn't worry about it. But if you want to, you can. And you're going to stir that around into that meat. And you're going to let it just simmer. You're going to let it simmer. So what I did is I also added a little bit of the sauce that we created. Just for that extra little kick in there. I added just a little bit of that sauce. And I'm just going to let this simmer on about back to that medium heat now. Because the meat is already done. Only thing we're doing is heating up the sauce a little bit for the pot. I'm sorry, for the casserole dish, rather. Not the pot, but our dish. So just let it just sit here and simmer and keep warm. So now that our tortilla is out, after about 10 minutes inside of the oven, we're going to layer. We're going to start our layer off by adding the meat sauce that we just fixed. Adding that meat. And you're just going to spoon it, guys. I would say just spoon it out until you get almost to the end. Okay? You're just going to spoon it out to make sure you have it all over your dish. Okay? And you'll do this 2 times. You'll do the meat. And right here, I'm going to put my cheese next versus my sauce. Because that meat is what? It's hot. So as I'm putting my cheese on top, it will help to melt the cheese. But feel free to put your sauce next if you want to. But I, in turn, put my meat and I filled it all over. So I'm going to take some of my mozzarella and I'm just going to sprinkle it around the dish. Oh my God, y'all, I'm getting hungry just looking at this. It's very economical. It's very, 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 very cheap. And it will go a long way. Add you a little bit of seasoning, Italian seasoning, a little oregano. And add some of that sauce. Don't forget the sauce. Yes. So you're going to spread it over. See? And you're going to repeat this same process. Now, you're going to have to add what? The next 5 tortillas. You're going to repeat the same process. Add the next 5. And you're still going to put a little of that butter sauce on there. Because, again, you don't want it to just taste right out the bag. There's no taste to it, no anything. So use a little bit of butter, and it will also soften up that tortilla as well. It really, really will, guys. All right. Going back in. A little bit more butter here. Going back in again with that meat again on top. And you're going to finish this process out. And again, this will go a long way. This fed 4 people, and it fed us for, I think it was a little bit of leftover, just a little bit for the next day, for my daughter's lunch, because I don't think my husband took. No way, I could be wrong. I don't think my husband took some for lunch, but it did feed our family. My daughter and my son-in-law didn't come over that day. So, and if they would have came, would have had more than enough. So as you see me doing here, I'm just emptying out now the rest of the meat. And you can do that once you get to the second layer. And just spread that meat all over your pan. Yes. But this dish will feed up to 6 people. It will feed up to 6 and maybe 8, depending on how big you cut the pieces. Sprinkle that cheese all over. Now you're using the rest of your mozzarella. You're going to bring over the rest of your sauce. In other words, you're just closing everything out now. There's no need to save anymore now. It's time to spread it on out. All right. And I used every part, y'all. I didn't leave anything behind. All the little pieces of cheese, yes, I used it all. Now I'm going to grab that cheese that we had in the other package to reserve it for this right here, this very, very moment. Because I didn't have that much left, so I wanted to be very, very particular. And when I put it in here, and I decided to put it right on top. I'm just trying to give each part of the dish some love. So as you can see, I did not have that much. But when I tell you that this came out good, it came out delicioso. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, guys. I hope you guys are enjoying this quick and easy recipe. This took about maybe 10 to 15 minutes to prep. And then it's just probably seem a little bit slower because I'm going through the directions, but it really took about 15 minutes to prep, maybe 20 at the most, because of me using that time to warm those tortillas. All right, so now this goes into the oven on 375 for 30 minutes, or until you feel the cheese is thoroughly melted all the way through. I left mine enough for 30 minutes, and this will be your result. Awesome, delicious, chewy, enjoyable enchilada bake. It is beautiful. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and then tune in again on next Monday for the next What's for Dinner. And until the next time, guys, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. 500 subscribers is our first giveaway. Love you guys.